with locations in Mooresville and Cornelius.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you?
The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty is recorded live with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, here's your host, Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for taking your time to tune in to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty. Sheriff Campbell is not with us today. As you know, he is a man of many meetings and of many organizations, so he is not with us today, but I do have the great pleasure to welcome Matt Burleyson. Matt, it's been a day or two since we've done a radio show together.
It has been, sitting on the same side.
I'm the taller one for those that are looking at us on Facebook.
You let me have the bigger chair, so that's important.
Okay.
So I guess your knees are touching the
They
table.
are,
You're down.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
so, welcome. Thank you for having me here today. It's
a pleasure.
It's going to be a fun day.
And we got Randy Horton. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one of those shows where we're going to take a point of personal privilege here maybe for the first little segment to go over some things. So if you have ever been interested in crime scene investigation, crime scene labs, evidence,
forensics
services, anything to do with stuff that happens after a crime is committed, how we solve crimes using science and technology, Randy's the man to answer those questions.
Yes.
So go ahead and call your neighbors, call your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your pastor, your whoever. Because we really do have a great show today. And Randy, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. I know you're very busy over at the lab. Active cases going on around us.
Yes.
So just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to come today.
I am happy to be here. I haven't made a stop in here at the station since last year, and I'm glad to be back.
Joe and Justin have spiffed things up a little bit.
Yes, I noticed we have lovely new accoutrements in here. It's
indeed.
Very nice.
Oh, Maddie's already using big words.
Yes.
Spell out. Use it in a sentence.
No.
Can I get a synonym?
So we will get to Randy here in just a second. But last week, for those of you that may have been listening last week, and when Sheriff and I were going over several of the things that he's recently been promoted to as far as the state level and the national level, Matt, we really, really, really wanted to let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, I know.
But we could not because it had not been officially voted on yet, even though we knew it was going to happen. So, Joe, you may remember what I'm talking about. So shortly after last week's show, the executive board, the executive committee of the National Sheriff's Association met and ratified through a vote that Sheriff Campbell is on he is a board member serving on the executive committee. So he's on the executive board, and he also is now working himself into a position on the executive committee, which is like where really all the behind the scenes stuff, all the monies, all the people, the lobbying, the bills and the things they want to go before the U.S. Congress and the Senate, all those things are decided on. So now we have representation with him being on the board of directors for National Sheriff's Association and the North Carolina Sheriff's Association. So we just want to say, Sheriff, congratulations. We're tickled to death for you. Quite an accomplishment to be on both of those boards.
I'm going to put you on the spot. We know that the North Carolina Sheriff's Association has the 100 members, and he was the former president, now the chairman of the committee. How many national sheriffs are there?
You know, Matt, that's a great question. I have heard the number somewhere around 3,200 sheriffs in the United States.
Right.
Each county, let me back up. Not every county, I believe, has a sheriff in the United States. I know we obviously do here in North Carolina. And the office of sheriff is varied across the nation. There are some states like Kentucky who the sheriff does not run the detention center. They have a sworn voted upon and elected person to oversee the jail. You have some sheriff's offices across the nation that they work recs and work traffic just like we have our brothers and sisters here in the Highway Patrol here in North Carolina. Some sheriffs do weird things. You know, they have livestock patrol, very similar to some things on the federal level. You'll hear them talk about that. So a very much varied and widely diverse group. You know, Sheriff Campbell and we often joke because when I get to go, you know, to some of the meetings with him, North Carolina's bipartisan, and really nonpartisan when it comes to bills and different things. Everybody agrees that we're here to help the office of sheriff and the citizens of North Carolina. A little more political on the national level, but when you see that group get together and really get behind something like you know, obviously immigration is a hot topic for the National Sheriff's Association. And you've heard Sheriff Campbell talk about sitting on the Border Security Committee, and they have asked the current administration, and here again, this is not political, this is all stuff you can go check out. They've asked the current administration 4 times to please sit down with us, let us talk about things going on the border, how we can help, you know, stop some of the crime occurring at the border and the crimes occurring to the people coming across the border, because they are being preyed upon too by criminals. And so far, nothing.
Silence.
Crickets. Silence. Crickets.
Fall on deaf ears. Yep.
Crickets. So congratulations to Sheriff Campbell for that, boss. We are proud of you, and I'm quite happy to have you on those boards. For those of you that just woke up, getting ready to go work second or third shift, and may not know that today is 9/11, the anniversary of September 11th attacks. You know, this is one of those things where yesterday, Matt, I know we were standing in the hallway, and I remember exactly where I was when I got the news. I was sitting at my desk. I was filling out a what we call a felony packet or a felony report for the court system, and my partner at the time, Randy Cass, is like, dude, did you just hear what happened? I said, what do you mean what happened? He goes, a plane hit one of the World Trade Centers. Like, dude, that's awful. And then a couple minutes later, he's like, dude, there was another one. And then we knew something was up. So we went to our then current narcotics office and watched it on television, watched it live. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to remember the victims. The total number of those killed in the attacks in New York, according to the Encyclopedia of 9/11, was 2,753. Of that number, 343 firefighters and paramedics. You had 23 New York City police officers and 37 Port Authority police officers died in that attack. The people who attacked that, performed these attacks, they did not like this country. And they still don't like this country. And, you know, Sheriff and I had the great fortune to go up to Washington and watch the live video that was recorded when Israel was attacked in October. And those people don't like us either. And the director of the FBI said in a Senate committee, ladies and gentlemen, we need to start listening to the people who say they don't like us. So today, as we pause to remember the great acts of heroism that occurred from these folks trying to protect the citizens of the United States, we need to remember that there are people out there that do not like this country for the things that we have and the liberties we have. The Israelis, while we watched the video, they said one thing. They said, in the United States, you say of 9/11, never forget. We Israelis say in Israel, never again. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's kind of the attitude that we need to take when we protect our country, is never again.
It is.
So, Randy, when we come back, we'll introduce you and we'll talk about crime scenes and how to catch criminals. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
There's more of The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday evening is comfy, cool. Temperatures fall down into the low 60s overnight. Heading into our Thursday, we'll see increasing clouds, and it really becomes kind of an overcast day, especially by the afternoon, with high temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll mainly stay dry, but by Friday, bring a scattered shower chance. Back to the forecast, although the weekend doesn't look all that wet. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Nina's Boutique.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville presents Fortune 5 in concert on Thursday, September 12th. Fortune 5 won the Battle of the Bands this past spring and now makes their debut on the Langtree stage. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music powered by Waves Entertainment starting at 7. Grab your friends, family, and lawn chairs. Enjoy the shopping and dining options while at Langtree. Don't miss the music of Fortune 5 this Thursday at Langtree Live. This Friday is the next edition of the Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 concert series. Downtown Statesville offers free entertainment to residents, neighbors, and visitors. This week's concert features the Camel City Yacht Club, 5 musicians devoted to bringing the finest smooth rock of the 70s and 80s to you. Friday After 5 is held in downtown Statesville on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College from 6 p.m. to 8:30. Beer, wine, soft drinks, and food will be available for purchase beginning at 5 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of music this Friday in downtown Statesville. The WSIC gang is back at Micaiah's in Mooresville for Trivia Night Tuesday, September 17th. Grab your squad, form your team, or come play solo and join WSIC on-air personalities as we gather for a fun game of trivia. We'll see you September 17th at Micaiah's in Mooresville. The NHRA returns to ZMAX Dragway September 20th through the 22nd for the Carolina Nationals. When the temperature cools down, the excitement heats up at the Bellagio of drag strips. Every ticket is a pit pass, giving fans unmatched access to the drivers and crews who power the NHRA's thunderous 11,000 horsepower machines to their limits. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
It's the good, the bad, and the guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Live here on WSIC. We are in this wonderful studio. We have with us Chief Bill Hamby and Captain Randy Horton, and I'm Captain Matt Burleyson. Remember, guys, you can call us with those questions for Captain Randy about the all of your forensic expertise that you have. Share that with the listeners, the viewers out there. 844-STUDIO-4. 844-STUDIO-4. And as I like to say, that is toll-free, nationwide, universal. Call from anywhere.
But what if your phone doesn't have letters? What are the numbers?
Well, that's a good point.
It's up there on the screen.
Oh,
Matt.
yes, it is. It is on the screen when we speak.
And it's on these little papers right here.
Can I point down here?
Yep.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my hand's gone now.
Yep. On paper, mine says detective. They tell me to look for clues.
844-788-3464. 844-788-3464. If you don't have those letters. So
yeah, if your phone don't have letters, then you need numbers. That's what you need.
But you could do Facebook. So I'm
on Facebook.
You're
right
on
now.
Facebook right now. So guys, I'm looking at your comments. If anybody would like to make a comment on Facebook, we'll answer those questions as well. So we'll see those. Captain Randy Horton, you've been with us for quite a while now.
About 11 years.
11 years, and you've had quite.
Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
Quite the accolades.
And I've known you a lot longer than that.
I know.
And you're very special in your expertise in what you do.
I'm special.
Yes. Well, talk about your unit first, because I know it's growing in the things that you do. You have the entire crime scene unit, the forensics services.
We have the crime lab, the crime scene investigation personnel, as well as the property and evidence personnel.
Okay.
So,
how many personnel we're looking at?
So we have one full-time digital forensics person that primarily works with cell phones, video enhancement, things of that nature, pulling videos from homes, from stores, being able to enhance those. Cell phone forensics, we all know, as you were just talking about being on Facebook, none of us go anywhere these days without a cell phone attached to us. We can get some great information off of those to help solve crimes. I won't go into all our tricks and everything that we have and tell the bad guys all the cool things that we can do, but she does a great job of that. Besides myself, there are 3 full-time CSIs. We work or are on call one or the other around the clock for patrol, criminal investigations divisions, narcotics, whoever needs us, search warrants. We do we come out with the homicide team on, the biggest of crimes. I was out yesterday at 5 in the morning working on a car break-in. So we go from, what I would consider a, smaller property crime all the way up to multiple homicides and everything in between.
Right. And you guys do that. You go out on those property crimes because, as a taxpayer resident that's out that property, whether it's a break-in in their car, their home, we've told several times, we've been here with detectives, and I know, Chief, you said it too, don't touch anything, let us come in.
Absolutely.
And it's because he comes in or his team comes in on the tail end and that evidence is left behind. So now, what's that machine called where you just put in the bullet or the fingerprint and it spits out the name?
There's different ones, but it doesn't work like on television.
But it does.
Now, Randy,
I know.
Now, Randy,
I know.
don't, Joe, I'm sorry. I know he burst your bubble, brother.
It's behind the wall. We're letting you in on secrets.
No, you
Gosh,
guys,
Randy,
you have
just
some,
disappointed people. You mean we can't solve it in
it just spits out the name.
43 minutes with commercials?
Yeah.
I have had one that that one of my folks now, before she came work over with our side, likes to say, we did solve that out on Chestnut Grove. I believe you were out there.
Yes, sir, we did.
That was a 48 minutes from the time the man broke into the house.
Right.
So we were chasing him on foot till we processed the scene, till we ran it in APHIS, got an ID, got it verified, and knew who he was. And we're seeking warrants for him in under an hour.
All right, now, all kidding aside, Randy, let's push pause on that. You and I have known, and Matt, you alluded to this, you and I have known each other for years.
Yes.
You and I met through the North Carolina Homicide Investigators Association. We both sat on the board of directors and then moved on through the various chairs. And when I said, Randy, you want to come work in Iredell County?
Maybe.
You said maybe. So, as for those of you that know Sheriff Campbell, one of his favorite sayings is, you got to buy prime rib when it's on sale.
That's it.
We just said that earlier.
So, all kidding aside, Randy, and I know we give you a hard time because I know that you love to geek out with some of this stuff, and obviously the citizens of Iredell County need to know the capabilities and the qualifications that you and our crime scene unit and our lab bring to the table. So if you'll take a few minutes, because I know you got a lot, you are one of how many people, all kidding aside, in North Carolina that hold the level of certifications that you have?
With my dual certification as both a senior crime scene analyst and as a certified latent print examiner, I'm one of 4 in North Carolina.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now one of 4 in North Carolina. That is the capabilities that Sheriff Campbell wanted to bring to the table when we got Randy, and you've brought a lot of expertise to the table. You've brought a lot of knowledge, obviously, and some pieces of equipment, how to use those equipment. So just to encapsulate that, why would a county have a crime lab? Or let me back up. Let's not talk about the lab yet. Let's talk about why would an agency, a law enforcement agency, want to have a standalone crime scene unit? What are some of the benefits to the taxpayer and victims, I should say?
Well, the biggest is actually being able to work a scene in a more timely manner. Many other agencies, as most other agencies throughout North Carolina, CID, the detectives are going to come out. They're going to be responsible for working the crime scene. And when I say working the crime scene, I'm really referring to the physical aspect of the crime scene, the evidence, taking photos, collecting blood, DNA, fingerprints, sketching it, doing videos, still photography, laser measurements, laser shooting reconstruction, whatever. They're also then going to be tasked with interviewing people that are there, canvassing the neighborhood, going to speak with people that are out there. At that point, they have too much on their plate, in my opinion, at one time. So fortunately for those few of us that do have a standalone crime scene unit, we take care of all that while the detectives are over there interviewing the people, speaking to them, getting written statements, canvassing the neighborhoods, pulling video, doing what they need to do on their end, and we're freed up to do on ours. Most of the time, when we're experienced and been doing it as long as we have, we get there, it's like huddle up, break, everybody goes and does their thing. We meet back a little bit later, discuss what they found out from the statements. This is what I found out from the evidence. But what it boils down to in the end is it's a time saver. It's a time saver on getting the case solved. If you don't have a crime lab, in all likelihood, you're going to send your stuff to the state lab. here in North Carolina. State Lab is some great folks.
Wonderful people.
They do a great job. I'm friends with almost all of them because I work on the conferences throughout the state and, go to training with these people.
Right.
Know all of them. Unfortunately, they're overwhelmed.
There's not enough of them because what he's referred to, ladies and gentlemen, is every agency that does not have a crime scene unit, and that is the vast majority.
Correct.
Now there are detectives and investigators who are very competent.
Yes.
Who can do the work of a crime scene investigator, but as you said, instead, and we've worked scenes together back in the day when I was working scenes. Is say a business break in. Okay, does that business owner want me, putting fingerprint powder down, doing different things, or do I need to be out talking to and interviewing the eyewitnesses? Or now we have these ring cameras, surveillance devices, and cameras. So there we can deploy a team of people, 3 or 4 people, to a crime scene and do in 2 or 3 hours what would take 8 to 12 hours back in the good old days.
Easily.
Yep.
Easily. And also the other thing is ours will go into even more advanced training. That detective, even though they can do maybe 80% of our job on average, maybe even more than that.
Right.
When we get into really technical things, laser shooting reconstruction, blood stain pattern analysis to figure out trigonometry and figuring out from looking at a blood stain on a wall where the person was when the shot was fired, the impact, going back and setting up, all types of trigonometry angles, shooting. There's a lot of technical training that goes into it. For one of my certifications, the minimum amount of time in the discipline before you can even apply to take some of the tests is 6 years.
Yeah. Now, so, Matt, I have a question. Were you listening?
Huh?
He said trigonometry to redo shooting. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not how many times you pull the trigger.
No.
No.
That's different.
Just checking.
Well, in my mind, I'm thinking of that, the sticks and stuff going in, or
like Dexter on TV.
Yes.
There you go.
TV again.
Blood spatter.
Well, I know I made the joke about the whole equipment in the lab, but you do have that stuff there. You've got the 2 camera angles where you bring the striations of the bullets together.
Stereoscopic microscope.
What?
Stereoscopic, right?
That is correct.
I win.
Whoa!
I get my
We
point for
usually
today.
just go comparison microscope because we don't want to mess people up with big words, but he is
But doesn't
correct.
it do this? It doesn't it like
Yeah, it does.
I see. I knew that.
Yeah.
And then there's that thing that we have to stand back from because you put the super glue in it. There's the fuming hood.
Yeah.
As seen on TV, right?
Correct. Super glue is our friend.
Super glue.
Unless you accidentally overheat it, then it becomes cyanide gas, not your friend.
Right, but that's why I stand back. Exactly.
Well, in there again, that's why we have experts,
right,
who can do this stuff.
Yep, because that's not stuff. That's what the lab is. That's what's in the lab.
Correct.
And some pretty amazing tools that you guys can use, and you can bring the stuff back to do that there.
And that's what I do a lot of times. We used to, and we still have stuff that we all carry on our vehicles. We have kind of mobile crime labs on our vehicles, and we can do a lot of it out in the field. However, no matter what we can do in the field, we can always do it better back at the lab. So if it's something that I can seize and ask the victim, hey, can I take this with me? I promise not to hurt it, or, whatever it is. I can take it back to the lab and do all types of things with chemical processes, with gases, with, whatever, much more in a controlled environment than I ever thought about doing out in the field.
Right.
So, and the other thing is Sheriff Campbell's done a great job. We have a lot of really good equipment over there. We actually have some equipment that there's only 2 or 3 of in North Carolina. The state lab doesn't even have yet. They're getting there soon.
Let's talk more about that when we get back. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Thank you much for listening today.
Keep it right here. The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday evening is comfy, cool. Temperatures fall down into the low 60s overnight. Heading into our Thursday, we'll see increasing clouds, and it really becomes kind of an overcast day, especially by the afternoon, with high temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll mainly stay dry, but by Friday, bring a scattered shower chance back to the forecast, although the weekend doesn't look all that wet. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish. I'm just kind of blah.
Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites.
But I suppose they taste blah.
Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Did you know that Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief for nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea? Of course you do, because everyone knows the Pepto song. But did you know that Pepto also comes in convenient and delightful solid forms?
Pepto has berry fast melts, cherry chewables, liquid caps that make relief easy.
Pepto makes relief on the go easy. So when you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Increase your peace of mind and keep your family comfortable with propane tank monitoring from G&B Energy and Tank Utility. With this app, you can avoid running out of gas while you're grilling, receive alerts when your tank is low, and monitor your tank while you're away. Get peace of mind with G&B Energy's tank monitoring app today. Visit gbenergy.com or drop by 128 Entercraft Drive, Statesville. G&B Energy.
This is Brad with Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms in Mooresville. We have the best outdoor furniture available and the largest inventory around Lake Norman. Also, pool table, shuffleboard, and game room furniture. 847 Brawley School Road in Mooresville.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers laying off 1,800 U.S. workers, 2.5% of its workforce, in its first formal layoffs in 15 years. That's because demand for some of its advisory services is on the decline. In July, single-family home prices posting a 4.3% year-over-year gain nationwide. That's according to CoreLogic. The states with the highest increases in home prices year-over-year in July, far from the Sun Belt. Rhode Island was tops, then New Jersey, then Connecticut. On Wall Street, investors now betting that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates, but by just 1/4 point next week after an unexpected pickup in overall inflation in August, mostly on higher housing costs. Now, that weighed on the markets earlier, but there's been a big turnaround after shares of NVIDIA, the AI chip maker, started soaring. Right now, the Dow is only down about 1/5%, the tech-heavy NASDAQ up nearly 1.5%, and the S&P up 0.5%. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Call now to speak with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell at 844-STUDIO-4. The good, the bad, and the guilty on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Joe, you play my music, buddy. That is I call that my Alfred Hitchcock music.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I had you down as a Pink Panther guy.
Good. Well, I'm good with that too. Perot, all those kind of guys. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for tuning in today and listening to us on The Good, the Bad, the Guilty here on WSIC. If you have any questions about crime scene processing, fingerprints, anything else law enforcement related, please give us a call and I'll give you the numbers because Matt gives you letters. But I'll give you the numbers. 844-788-3464. Again, that's 844-788-3464. You can listen on the WSIC app, Facebook, X, Spotify. You just look for WSIC.
Radio.
Yeah, the radio works good.
If anybody's got one of them
transistor with it.
Absolutely. So our guest today is Captain Randy Horton, who is a supervisor of our forensics crime scene / evidence, basically all this fun stuff unit. And Randy, before we left, we were talking about the capabilities that our unit has and the advantages for the citizens here in Iredell County. So you are and I know we hear this term used a lot when you come to legal stuff, but you are an expert witness in court.
Correct. I'm considered a subject matter expert and can testify as an expert witness in state and federal courts.
So what does that give you with that designation, the ability to testify to, as opposed to just the average law enforcement officer who does a great job and may be testifying in court, but may not be able to testify to what you can as an expert witness?
They are going to still, even though they may have all that training, unless they're qualified as an expert witness, they're going to be considered a lay witness, at which point they can testify to essentially their senses.
Right.
What they heard, what they saw, what they tasted, touched, whatever that may be.
Right.
The difference is I can testify to my opinion.
Okay.
Based on what it is that I actually did, the experiments I may have conducted in the lab, the stuff that I may have done out on the scene, reconstructions. I can actually give my opinion as to why something happened, how it happened, what the results are, the fact that these prints match, whatever the case may be. And then the judge will instruct the jury that they may consider my opinion as a fact.
Very good.
And so that's another one of those machines where you've got
you're killing me. You're
not
killing me.
Not a fax machine.
Not a fax machine.
Just a fax, man.
Just the fax.
Just the facts. Just the facts.
But the forenscope.
Forenscope. That's one of our
I
newest.
got that one.
There you go.
The forenscope.
That is one of our newest
So
toys.
you look at that fingerprint and you compare it to the fingerprint on file that said bad guy has, and you can pick out all those points of reference and said, all right, that one looks like that one looks like that one. And that's the latent print expert witness that you're able to do.
Yes, and on that Forenscopes, it actually takes photos. It's going to I won't go into all the technical stuff, but it's going to take a photo with a scale in it. I'm going to then put it into AFIS, and it's going to
automated fingerprint
identification system. There you go. He's getting there, buddy.
I'm just a layman.
It's gonna search throughout North Carolina, or I can set it to search throughout the whole United States and the whole FBI's database. However I set it at the time, it's going to come back and then give me a list of possible people on TV.
Oh yeah,
we love TV.
Yeah.
It comes back and uses
with their address and their license plate number and where they are right now.
It'll tell you where they are right now and the last time they used their credit card. But in the real world, it's going to come back and give me a list of either 10 or 20 people.
Right.
I got to print off their last fingerprint card where they were booked, and then sit there with a magnifying glass and figure out all those little lines and little points and figure out who it might actually be.
Yeah. And so that's done in the lab.
Yes.
And you were talking about a state lab. Where is that located?
Well, there's 3 in North Carolina. The main one is in Raleigh.
Okay.
They have a regional one in Greensboro, North Carolina, and another regional one, another small one up in Edneyville, which is really close to Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Now, when you say they, let's be clear, that's the State Bureau of Investigation.
Well, it used to be. Now they're not part of the SBI anymore, but it's the North Carolina State Crime Laboratory.
Okay.
They were under the SBI once upon a time. But they work up there. For example, when we were talking about, the fact that they do work for a lot of folks, as far as a certified latent fingerprint expert, plus or minus, there's about 35 counties west of here. We'll call it 35. I'm the westernmost here in North Carolina, with the exception of the 3 folks that work up there at the state lab. So if you think about it, all those 35 counties west of here are, think of how many, so you're going to have, obviously you've got 35 counties, you got 35 sheriff's departments, or sheriff's offices, excuse me. You've also then got, who knows how many police departments. And then you've got all the state agencies, because they're still sending,
Patrol,
all those. So all those folks are going to be sending their stuff to that one laboratory with 3 people. And that's just recently they got 3. For the longest time, it was just 2. They've just upgraded to 3 within the last year or so. So you can imagine how much stuff they're inundated with.
Right.
Where here, we don't have to send anything off. We do it all in-house.
And just so our listeners understand, it's not that these people aren't great. It's not that they're not experts.
Oh, no.
It's just when you have 3 people for that amount of workload.
Correct.
It could be average time. I know you talk to these people all the time. Say it is a stellar, beautiful, very clear fingerprint. What's the average turnaround time that you may get if you're
it's
Hamby Police Department.
Well, it's sort of difficult to say, and the reason I say this is they've instituted a new policy that they use. It's some little fancy thing called Lean Sigma 6, but it's all about how to move things along.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based on many things, one of which is obviously how important the crime is.
Correct.
So,
So if it's a car break-in, which is important to the victim, but in the scope of homicides, rapes, armed robberies, it doesn't fall on that scale. But it's important to me because my car got broken into.
Your car got broken into, and we took, those agencies sent that print over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it got put into the queue with all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unfortunately, every time it started moving up to the top of the list, 10 or 20 armed robberies, rapes, murders, everything else came in. So now it went back down to the bottom.
Yeah.
So best case scenario, probably weeks. Worst case scenario is going to be in the months.
Okay.
It's improved. At one point, some of their turnaround might have been in the years, but they've gotten much better. It's good. There's no such thing as years.
So let's say 3 weeks, is that?
At least.
Okay. So at least 3 weeks, more likely a month.
Sure.
That's safe to say. You were telling our folks when we first started, you solved a crime in 48 minutes.
Correct.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, just so you understand the importance of that, if I'm a criminal and I'm breaking into things or I'm committing crimes, how many crimes can I commit in a month if I'm not identified and or arrested?
Well, especially
as opposed to 48 minutes, a day or two. That's where the rubber really meets the road when it comes to working these scenes.
When we have strings of house break-ins and car break-ins, thank you, Charlotte, for sending all your bad guys up here on occasion. They may do 10 or 12 at a time.
Absolutely.
So if you're talking 10 or 12 in a night and you don't get them for
a month,
wow.
Yeah, that's
10
going to be
times 30s.
Yeah, that's math right there. That's quite a problem.
Yeah.
But like I said, one thing that we've got these folks, a lot of the folks that I have over there with me that do excellent work. We've got the good equipment. And one thing, I've been here 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
I came in, along the same timelines as Sheriff Campbell.
Yep.
He has been successful in adding personnel.
He has.
He has added personnel to the lab, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
We've added new equipment. And over that time, and I know you're more familiar with these stats than I am, but I know for a fact that as these personnel have been added, as this new equipment have been added,
results have been gotten.
Precisely. I was going to say, if you look at our crime numbers, and you can tell by all the folks that are moving to Iredell County,
they start dropping.
They drop dramatically over the 11 years. You know better than anybody.
Yeah.
From those numbers. So
it's aggressive. It's aggressive patrolling, educated detectives, crime scene who expert witnesses, people that can use this equipment and get it done, and we don't have to wait months to get results. And being able to give that information to the district attorney's office.
Our narcotics guys, our interstate guys out there. I mean, I've heard folks say, with the bad guys, avoid Iredell County.
Don't come to Iredell.
Yeah, don't come because you're going to get caught.
And if you're a bad guy or girl and you're listening, don't come to Iredell.
Please feel free to go around.
You can leave now. Our borders are open.
Exactly. So with about 1 minute left, Randy, when we come back, just right quick, because I know Matt's got some really cool stuff. We got some press releases. Would like to just kind of bring and put a bow on this. When we come back, if we can tell our listeners, how does the information that you guys receive in the jail and I'm sorry, at the crime lab and all the reports that you get, how does that funnel to the district attorney's office, and what are they able to do with it when we come to court?
Typically, let's say, for example, I get a fingerprint match.
Well, let's give it about 30 seconds, and because I know that's where some good stuff. So, Matt, we also have press releases, and we got some really cool things coming up that citizens need to be aware about.
Yep.
So when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, have your calendar out because we got some dates, so you can write down some information. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have more of the good, the bad, and the guilty coming up right after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday evening is comfy, cool. Temperatures fall down into the low 60s overnight. Heading into our Thursday, we'll see increasing clouds, and it really becomes kind of an overcast day, especially by the afternoon, with high temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll mainly stay dry, but by Friday, bring a scattered shower chance back to the forecast, although the weekend doesn't look all that wet. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville presents Fortune 5 in concert on Thursday, September 12th. Fortune 5 won the Battle of the Bands this past spring and now makes their debut on the Langtree stage. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music powered by Waves Entertainment starting at 7. Grab your friends, family, and lawn chairs. Enjoy the shopping and dining options while at Langtree. Don't miss the music of Fortune 5 this Thursday at Langtree Live. This Friday is the next edition of the Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 concert series. Downtown Statesville offers free entertainment to residents, neighbors, and visitors. This week's concert features the Camel City Yacht Club, 5 musicians devoted to bringing the finest smooth rock of the 70s and 80s to you. Friday After 5 is held in downtown Statesville on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College from 6 p.m. to 8:30. Beer, wine, soft drinks, and food will be available for purchase beginning at 5 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of music this Friday in downtown Statesville. The WSIC gang is back at Micaiah's in Mooresville for Trivia Night Tuesday, September 17th. Grab your squad, form your team, or come play solo and join WSIC on-air personalities as we gather for a fun game of trivia. We'll see you September 17th at Micaiah's in Mooresville. The NHRA returns to ZMAX Dragway September 20th through the 22nd for the Carolina Nationals. When the temperature cools down, the excitement heats up at the Bellagio of drag strips. Every ticket is a pit pass, giving fans unmatched access to the drivers and crews who power the NHRA's thunderous 11,000 horsepower machines to their limits. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now, back to more of The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Little space age music there. Yep, there you go.
Joe's
Welcome
in the club.
back. Yep, that's it.
European techno.
Welcome back, folks. We are here at WSIC for the good, the bad, and the guilty. And we've got with us Captain Randy Horton talking about some crime scene investigation. And you were at the break, you were going about a fingerprint you were talking about as far as the...
Yeah, just trying to, just so our listeners can understand how we get from the things that you guys find, the conclusions or the evidence or the information that you develop, how does that funnel through and how does that assist the district attorney's office in trial?
We will actually send them a lab report with our bench notes, all our observations, the conclusions that we came to based on whatever it was that we were testing. The vast majority of time, and I mean definitely the vast majority of time, especially if we're able to come to an actual identification or a conclusion, it never goes to court.
Right. So what happens, Randy?
Our bad guy takes a plea.
So the skills and abilities and equipment that we have maybe causes him to go, I might's have done it. Yeah. I don't want to go to trial.
It kind of looked like they can prove it too. So awesome. I've been doing this plus or minus 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to say now, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been subpoenaed and the defense attorneys have been sent a notification of the prosecution's intent to use me as an expert witness. I've probably only had to testify as an expert witness 20 times.
Right.
Because out of that 20 years, which is crazy when you think of the, thousands of prints that I've looked at and everything else. Because if, I don't know, one of the ones that we get most frequently recently, firearm by a felon in possession of firearm. When I pull his fingerprints off of the gun or off the magazine, off the bullets or whatever, it's going to be pretty tough to claim that he didn't have it and never touched it and don't know nothing about it.
And yes, it is. And I agree. And there again, going back to, we already have a convicted felon.
Yes.
Now possessing a firearm.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no. All right. But a felon, a repeat career criminal, a felon in possession of a firearm. So you're able to pull a fingerprint off of that weapon, off of that magazine, off of those rounds of ammunition, and conclusively determine that that individual handled that weapon, had it in their possession.
Correct.
So if you can do that in, I don't know, a few days versus, as we said earlier, a month or two, how many times and how many people have you potentially saved, or how many robberies, or how many whatever have we potentially? I mean, you can't prove what you can't prove, but I would dare to say, having the ability, having the skills, having the equipment to be able to put these people back in jail makes our community a whole lot safer. And there again, it's not a knock on these agencies that don't have a crime scene unit, or the ones that have to use these either state or private labs. It's just the foresight and the thinking of Sheriff Campbell and getting you guys hired in and trained up, and the equipment you need to do these crimes is keeping Iredell County and making Iredell County a whole lot safer.
It is, and it's not just a one-time thing. It's ongoing training.
Yes.
We get sent. He makes sure that we have the training budget through our training section, and it's constantly changing. Unfortunately, TV likes to, every time we get some new tool and some fancy new thing that we can solve crime with, TV loves to show it and put it on TV to make sure that the criminals know it within 6 months or a year.
Oh, yeah.
So then we got to come up with something even newer because they done dimed us out and showed, the bad guys how to get around it.
The light.
Exactly.
The little light that you shine everywhere.
All the little stuff that we use, they know about.
And I know that we will not get into all the aspects of digital evidence recovery, but there's really neat equipment that you guys have, and that is constantly being developed by developers to help us with those type of crimes and to gather that kind of information. That is just really amazing.
I'm going to blow the listeners' minds. Even if you don't find a fingerprint, he leaves something else behind when he touches it.
In theory, hopefully, there's DNA.
Touch DNA.
Touch DNA.
Mind blown.
Is that the low card?
Low cards exchange theory.
Yes.
See.
Wow, you must have been a detective one time.
I'm a semi-expert.
Old Edmund Locard, the father of forensics.
Let me hold a penny.
Yeah. That's the old guy that said everything you touch leaves a trace.
Okay.
So when you come into some place, you bring stuff with you and you take stuff away. So
well, that's a great place to leave Randy for now, because Matt, you've got some really cool stuff, and also for those that take part in the Citizens Academy, you will get to have actual time in a class.
What? That's what I was
with you and me.
Oh, okay. That's what let me.
Spring
you
a link
said I was
over
going to do. Look at the
No,
list. I was
done.
supposed to do
No,
this
that's
one.
fine. I'm done.
So, Citizens Academy. Yes, he will have a chance to speak. Citizens Academy. You always are a big help with that. The detectives come out. We set up a crime scene. They get to process it. The crime lab. So you take the citizens in the Citizens Academy over to the lab.
Oh, yes.
And they see the stuff. They touch the stuff. They've made their own fingerprints and lifted their fingerprints. They've done shoe impressions, stuff to take with them.
I just like the fact that you got my bribe I sent you, and that my picture in the lab, the picture of me in the lab is on the poster.
Actually,
that's important.
Actually, what it was is we caught you working.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Wow. I've noticed as my desk gets larger, my waist size gets larger.
Exactly. We caught him in the act. But no, that was that's always one of the great things with the Citizens Academy. Guys, the Citizens Academy is coming up in October. We run them in spring and fall. And October is a great time to come out and spend some afternoons, evenings with the Sheriff's Office, seeing a behind-the-scenes tour, if you will, open up to see, to show the citizens how we get the results that we got, what Sheriff Campbell has provided us with. He wants to be very transparent. He wants us to see that. So the very first night, you'll hear from the sheriff and chief talking about some of those innovations that we've done, and the statistics, and why we do what we do and how we do it with less. Essentially, is a good way of saying it. But the next night, or that night, since we're going to do a crime lab tour. The next night we're going to be at our new training facility where we can set up a crime lab. Scene, exactly. So
that's going to take a hot minute to set up a crime lab.
Well, you said those trucks, right?
Yeah, sure.
They got those nice new trucks with all the stuff in the back. So
I just think that these new folks that are coming through this newer and improved Crime Scene Academy, all the new things that they get, that some of the original, because we were one of the innovators that came up with one of the first folks with the Citizens Academy.
Now, let me just interject. Will there be the escape room again?
There will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you that one of our crime scene investigators took it upon herself to develop basically an escape room, but it teaches the skills and the abilities and the logical way that we would process a scene looking for evidence to lead to a conclusion. And one of the coolest things that I think we've done in quite a while, we had it for the Teen Academy, and the kids absolutely loved it. They thought it was great. So we will tweak that, make it a little more adult-ish.
Exactly.
Thank you, Holly.
Yes, Holly did a great job
Holly
on
did
that.
an amazing job and did that all on her own.
That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing this
They
year.
get things like that they didn't have in the beginning, like the boat.
The boat.
They get things like the range day.
Yes. The range day.
Oh, yes. I mean, they've got
that's
new,
a brand new one. Like only one or two has done the range day.
That's what I'm saying. We got new and improved Citizens Academy.
And new pieces of equipment. We actually, I don't know how I can work it in there, but for the Teen Academy, we demonstrated the ROV, the underwater roving vehicle. You know, we had a helicopter come in. So there's all kinds of possibilities that are still in the works, because Sheriff always says bigger, better.
There's a range day for the adults.
Yes, exactly. So things that go bang, and I mean some there was a big bang too. The search
bang,
was out there.
Bang, boom,
yeah. Some pew pews. So
old pew pew.
So guys, we've opened up registration. Check out our Facebook. Check out our website. Give us a call at the office. Ask for the Citizens Academy. They'll put you through to me or Miss Dara, and we'll get you signed up for it. It's free of charge. It is 8 nights. We will meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 8. All those locations will change throughout the county. Obviously, we can't ride a boat up here in Statesville, so we'll be going down to the lake that night. Hopefully, we have good weather. We'll go to our range on another day, and we'll take you up there. So we've got transportation provided for that. So the canines will be out. The traffic stops that we do, just lots of great opportunities. If you can't make every night, we understand. I mean, sometimes I can't make every night, and I'm supposed to be there every night. So, you know, we do that. We have a great opportunity to show you guys this stuff. If you've been before, you want to come back and see what new, you want to try a different night, reach out to us as well. You can do that. But you know, really do it. Bring a family member, bring a neighbor, bring a friend. This is Citizens Academy, not Teen Academy. So don't bring your kids. I mean, this is just for that. So, but where you can bring your kids, and you can come too, because you know, you're going to be.
In fact, Randy does come and sets up some cool stuff.
Randy does some cool things.
I will actually, but unfortunately this year I will actually be the on call, so I will be the candy passer outer.
Let's tell him what it is.
Okay, well, it's the Sheriff's Spooktacular.
You need some water? Is your throat okay?
I don't know what it's the Sheriff's Spooktacular on Halloween night. So we will meet
from 6 to 8?
Yep, meet at the Sheriff's office from 6 to 8. We're going to have the patrol cars out there, the Bearcat. We're going to have some other local agencies, our officers decorating their patrol cars, the guys that are the school resource officers after school coming out and doing that. All the families of the officers come, but everyone
trunk
is welcome.
Or treats with all those cars.
Trunk or treats. So decorating those.
Ours is from 6 to 8, not to compete with the city, who's I think theirs is from 4 to 6. And then come on down, and we're from 6 to 8, and
we will have plenty of candy. Last year, our candy arrived on a box truck.
Yes, and it went out in buckets with wheels. Yeah, like we need wheelbarrows this time.
Yes, it was quite a display.
Exactly. So Halloween contest, Halloween costume contest. So guys, stay tuned to our Facebook for that information. Call us if there's anything we can do for you. We are here to help you, and we appreciate your support in the community. And take a moment to remember again 9/11. And what is that you said? Never again.
Never again. Never again.
Thank you, guys.
Randy, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville.